Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. I've been seeing this post from multiple sources so far, so I figure I'll just another cautions video, like just play safe, everyone, for Pokemon, because it's been so hyped these days that sometimes if you're new or if you're trying too hard, you might fall into some traps, kind of. And this is just a warning. So this is a Japan store. The store is called TCG Shop Akihabara Honden. So what happened is this store they have from multiple sources, and I'm just hearsay because I haven't been to the store. Definitely haven't been to the store for my last trip to Tokyo. Akihabara. Actually, I didn't even go Akihabara last time because I was just 5 days. I mean, guys didn't get to go there. So anyway, this store what do you call that? The buyback cards. So usually, like in Japan, most of the stores has a buyback rate. You sell the cards to them, and they have a buyback rate, so everything is kind of like clear because they will have posters or like a clear communication in terms of the rates. Very competitive rates. And Akihabara is kind of like the area, like not just the store, just in general, it's kind of like where TCG started for the most part, like gaming, TCG animation. Everything is like theirs, like they're that and Harajuku, right? Harajuku is like where you cosplay, and that's like where it starts. Where they hyped even in the like late 90s, 2000s, kind of like it's even in the 90s. That is where they start. That's before Pokemon become this insane and crazy. Anywho, it sounds like this store buy back a lot of cards from buyers, and they didn't get the chance to pay these customers the money before they declare bankruptcy. And they go through the lawyers and said they cannot, because they declare bankruptcy, right? So they cannot fulfill, like they basically has debts and they cannot pay back, basically, because they have a cash turnover situation. So a lot of people online is saying, is it real bankruptcy, or they just a whole like new store that's trying to con people for money, because you just open a store for a couple months and then you just con people money and didn't take their cards and didn't pay, didn't return cards either, through the lawyers. So I mean, like I said, like Akihabara, usually people when you shop there, you wouldn't know which store is good or the history of it. I mean, and these days there's like so many Pokemon stores just pop up like daisies, like stores like within the last like 1 or 2 years, or at most COVID. It's not like those like mom and pops local car store that has been there for like like before Pokemon even exists. Like say for example for sport, like before TCG, before Pokemon, before Yu-Gi-Oh, definitely before One Piece, right? That's Magic, and before Magic, it is like sporting cards, kind of like there are stores that has been there like that old, and then you have these stores that are comparatively newer. And you don't know how safe they are, how financially stable they are. So when you're dealing with it, you want to make sure the transaction is almost immediate. So that is to your benefit. Because if you give people and hold and consignment and whatnot, that might not be a good choice potentially. I mean, there's more risk, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, 2 billion. I guess 億個18,000,000 18,000,000億. So that's like 9 digit to, yeah, $2 billion yen, 2 billion yen for bankruptcy that they filed. So you can see the dates here. They were established in 2024, but then they declare bankruptcy on the 16th, that they stop their operation and file the bankruptcy. So it's quite a short time. We're in 2026, right? Yeah, so the store actually is 2026 fab. Is a really new, like the the establishment is in 2024, but the actual store in Akihabara location is not until like 2026 February. We're in April and they're already filing bankruptcy in April. So we're talking about less than 2 months, like 2 months of business for that physical store. So yeah, you need to know the history of the store before you dealing with them. Like if you want to deal with, just make sure it's immediate payment, because the longer you do it like consignment, or leave it there so that they have time to check the value before you go back, and that kind of stuff, that's not probably safe, kind of, in that sense. This is not the first time I see this post. Like I said, the poster here is Carholic, card pie symbol, as in card information. Anyway, whatever the translation is. But they basically a car store as well in Hong Kong. I believe it's a car store. It's either Hong Kong or Taiwan. I don't know. Anyway, and like I said, I saw this post yesterday night. So it's like, kind of within the last 24 hours, I've been seeing multiple sources having this. And they were basically just trying to warn people as well, just like I am doing. Make sure you know the background of the store, like you will probably go to Akihabara and think all the stores are like very established. No, there are different variation of stores. Those stores that has been around for a long time, they are the ones starting with sporting cards, like more Michael Jordan cars, for example. Those are the old days. Before we have Magic. Magic, and then that's before we have Wizard of Coast and Pokemon, before like that, and Yu-Gi-Oh. I think Pokemon was before Yu-Gi-Oh, if I'm not mistaken. But you know what I'm saying. It's we talk about stores that has over, like, Pokemon is what, 30 years, right? So we talk about stores has more than 40 years of experience background, compared to those that just pop up like for a couple months or even a couple years. You don't know how they're financial stable and so on. So just be careful out there when you're playing. Don't go too hard on trying new stores in some sense. I mean, trying new stores, making a quick purchase, sure. Maybe, even maybe, I wouldn't even say sure, actually. I correct myself, because you don't know where they source the cars from that I mentioned before. Like, there's just so many risks if you're dealing with a non-established channel, like, because you don't know where they source the cars from. You might be buying juice box, so you might be losing completely everything because the store just like closed down the next day. Or you might be buying stuff and you have the products in hands right away for the cash exchange, but turns out you're getting juice boxes, or getting rejects. I would call it rejects. Basically, stuff they open and reseal and whatnot, kind of, so that you lost your grail card, or your opportunity grail cards. So just be careful out there. There's so many ways you can, get conned in some sense. So just be careful out there. Conning might be a too strong a word, but basically in reality, it's just think that there are bad people out there in the hobby. There are good people in the hobby, and there are bad people in the hobby. So stay safe, everyone. Don't fall into the FOMO and and try to get it. I mean, I did myself. It's not a bad thing, but I overpay without doing research. That happened to me too. Like but at least I didn't get fake stuff. So I guess I felt slightly better than that. I just overpay. Yeah, it's still stupid, but you know what I'm saying. So do your research. Do your research. That's very important. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Until next time, have a good one, guys. Bye.